Hey, what's up everybody? On today's episode, I'm going to go over my top 15 photos I took on my honeymoon. Let's go. Just to let you know, every photo that I took on my honeymoon, and every video that I took on my honeymoon, I used my iPhone 8 Plus. The camera in this thing is amazing. The quality is amazing. You can shoot in 4K, up to 60 frames a second in video imagery, and the image quality is just amazing. And so everything that I shot for the honeymoon, photo-wise, was on this phone. And the app I use to edit all of these photos is actually Instagram. It is my app of choice. It is what I use. I edit straight on the app and just send it straight off to you all so you can see it. And it works well. And yeah, that's what I use. Image number 15 on the list is actually one of the very first photos I took on the honeymoon. It is our first stop on the honeymoon. It is actually in Sanford, Florida. If you've never been to Sanford, Florida, it is a beautiful little town in Florida, about 45 minutes north of Orlando. There's an airport going in, so if you've ever flown Allegiant, you more than likely have been to Sanford. And it was just a beautiful little town. It had cobblestone roads, it had a bunch of different bars and pubs, it had amazing restaurants that we ate at. We ate at a Mexican restaurant, we ate at a German restaurant, we ate at a pizzeria place, like a New York style pizza place, and it was phenomenal. So the very first image on this countdown, number 15, is actually my stop sign photo. Now, when I was walking, we were walking through the streets and I was vlogging, I kind of turned over to my shoulder. You can actually see this in the vlog. I turned over my shoulder and I saw the sunset, and then I saw the stop sign. Now, I could have not put the stop sign in because one, it's pretty dark and you can barely see it. It's basically like a silhouette. But I thought, you know what? Sometimes we just have to stop. Sometimes we just have to, as cliche as it sounds, stop and smell the roses. Now, when I was taking this image, I was thinking of, I wanted the stop sign to be basically a silhouette, but not full of silhouette, because I wanted you to see the stop, but yet I wanted you to focus on the sunset. Now, the colors in this just are amazing. It contrasts so well to the blue sky, all of the different oranges and pinks and yellows and reds, and it was just phenomenal. And so when I turned over to look at this, I just knew that I had to take the shot. I knew that I had to capture this moment because the sunsets in Florida are spectacular. They're amazing because Florida is so flat. You can see so much of the sky that it just makes the sunsets just that much cooler. And so, yeah, I had to take the shot. I had to capture this one moment, and I had to stop. And I took probably 15 to 20 images of this particular setup just to get the exact image that I wanted for the clouds to be perfect, for the stop sign to be somewhat in light, somewhat in silhouette. Yeah, so that's why it's number 15 on the list. Right, number 14 on the list is my image of New Smyrna Beach. This was a hidden gem. When we went, there was literally no one there, and I was able to get a lot of awesome vlog footage, but I was also able to get this amazing photo. Just the way the clouds were, it was just magnificent. The tide was barely in, so I was able to walk out kind of far into the water and just really experience the waves and experience what this beach had to offer. It was gorgeous. And I highly recommend it. If you all have never been, it is about a 45 minute drive from Sanford, and that is on the East Coast. And it was just a very beautiful place. It had free parking, really easy access to the beach. But one thing I really like about this image is it it captures the beauty of what a beach is. It shows you the beautiful sand, it shows you the beautiful sky, the beautiful horizon, and it just really shows you just how beautiful that place really is. And if you all have not been, I highly recommend it. Image number 13 is actually a photo I took on embarkation day when we went on our cruise. It is of the Lido Pool with the slides in the background. During embarkation, we were walking around like we always do, and we were walking past the Lido Pool, and I saw the reflection of the slide and all of the electronics in the background, and I just thought it was amazing. Like, the reflection is perfect, and the sky was perfect for it. The reflection just turned out great, and like, you can just see people already. This is like 12 o'clock on embarkation day. You can see people already just really enjoying themselves by the pool, and it was amazing. Number 12 on the list is actually my image of Hogsmeade. If you've ever been to Universal or Islands of Adventure, you know that Harry Potter World is one of the things to see. And in Islands of Adventure, Hogsmeade is the area to go to. That's where all the shops are, that's where you can go see Hogwarts Castle, that's where you can go ride the Hogwarts Express. And we were walking through one day, and we didn't have the best of weather during our time here. We actually had some crazy downpours, and we actually had a tornado warning going into Hogsmeade one day. But I was walking, it was very early on our first day at Islands of Adventure, and we were just walking through Hogsmeade, and I just was looking in awe. I am a huge Harry Potter fan. My wife and I are huge Harry Potter fans. As you can tell by my shirt, my wife has one as well. It's some of our honeymoon shirts, and it's hilarious because it says, "I'll never let you go." My wife is a huge pun person, and it just fit perfectly on our day for Universal and Islands of Adventure. But what's really cool is you can see just the detail that they have in these houses and these buildings, and like their attention to detail at Universal and Islands of Adventure is beyond what you can comprehend. If you have not been to either one of these parks, you honestly really need to go. It was phenomenal. And that's number 12. Number 11 on the list is one of my favorite things in the world, a roller coaster. Yes, is not top 10. I have a lot of other really good photos that are going to be in my top 10, but this particular photo is just very near and dear to my heart, because if you follow me on any social media or any of my vlogs, you know that one of my passions is roller coasters. Now this particular roller coaster is Montu from Busch Gardens, Tampa. Montu is an inverted roller coaster from B&M. It is probably one of the longest inverted coasters I have ever been on. I have been on a few in my day, but this one just seemed like it kept going on and on and on and on. It was intense. You can actually see in my Busch Gardens vlog how just kind of jarred I was because just of how intense this ride was. If you all have ever been to any theme park, you more than likely have ridden a B&M inverted, and they are intense. They give you lots of positive G's, and they give you lots of adrenaline. And in this particular photo, we were actually on the train going through the zoo area, and I was looking up, and just a contrast between the ride and the clouds in the sky, I just thought was amazing, and that's why it's number 11. We've made it to our top 10, 5 down, 10 to go. And number 10 on my list is actually a photo we took from our balcony when we were on the Carnival Liberty. And this is actually in Princess Cay, Carnival's private island. And what we were going into port. Well, technically there is no port there. We were anchored in, and I went outside and saw that we were there pretty early, and I saw the sunrise. And what was really cool is you can see the tender boats coming in, well, water shuttles, and you can see them in reflection, and you can see the water in the reflection of the glass on the balconies, and there was no way that I could pass that image up. And so I actually took a few different images with the boats in different, well, the tender boats in different places, and like it was just beautiful. Like, you can see the colors in the sky, you can see the reflections on the water, you can see the reflections on the ship, and it was just a very gorgeous day. It shows a lot of depth, it shows a lot of action, and that's one reason why I love this image. Number 9 on my list is no other than the Hogwarts Castle. This is also taken in Islands of Adventure, and we were walking through. This was, I believe, around sunset, and we were walking through, and I can just see the sun just casting over the castle, and it just created the beautiful depth. So you can see almost every single detail. You can see basically every brick, and it makes you feel like you are a part of the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Seeing this castle and being immersed in the world of Harry Potter was basically like a dream come true. And being there was, I can't even describe just how amazing it was. And like, the clouds were perfect in this image, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. Right, number 8 on the list is you cannot have a photo countdown from any sort of vacation without another sunset image. Now, this particular image is actually a sunset over the ocean, and it was amazing. If you've ever cruised, or if you've ever been out of the ocean fishing, or if you've ever done anything in the open waters, you know being able to see a sunset on the water is amazing. All the different colors, all of the different just light beaming everywhere. It is amazing. And the contrast of the super bright sun compared to the very cool temperature of the water is just unbeatable. And if you're able to zoom in, you can see just the rays of sunshine just overpowering the horizon to show just the grand gesture of what the sun can do during a sunset. Like, the trail of light going to it, it honestly reminds me of a wake coming out of the back of the ship. And like, just the clouds were perfect, the sun was perfect, the sun rays were perfect, the water was perfect, the light trail was perfect, and I just could not pass that opportunity up. For number 7, we are back to Princess K's Bahamas, Carnival's private island. This image was taken pretty close to when we first got there. Typically what I like to do is when I get to a port, I like to kind of assess the situation. I like to look at the different things that I can take photos of. Because if you look through my camera roll, you will see hundreds and hundreds to thousands of photos that I take. Now in this particular instance, we were right by a dock, and I was taking photos of the dock, and then I saw this rock formation, and I started walking towards it, and then I noticed this perfect cutout area that fit the ship just right. And so I started hunching down and doing weird karate moves. No, wasn't doing that. I was just looking at all the different angles, and I probably took 50 to 60 images just in this one spot because I wanted this photo or this image to be just right. And the ship just lays in that rock cutout perfect, and the way the sun was coming in just lit up the rocks so beautifully, and the ship was far enough back to where the sun was shining on that perfectly just as well, so the exposure was super easy to get, and it just worked. It felt right, and I'm super happy on how this image turned out. Number 6 on the list, we are now on the Universal side, and we are at Diagon Alley, and this is the Owlery at Diagon Alley. Another place that its attention to detail is unmatched. everything that you can think of that belongs in the Harry Potter world and that belongs in Diagon Alley was there. It was immaculate. Like, the distress of the buildings, the angle of the buildings, the I don't even know what to call it. Like, they really spent their time and energy to make this place just right. And when we were walking through Diagon Alley, my wife and I don't even know how many photos I took. There are some more images at the top of the list, further up in the list, that shows more of Diagon Alley. But this particular image was just there. Like, it was just waiting for me, basically, to take an image. The light was just right. The sun was just in the perfect area for me to take this shot. And you can see the tops of all of these people's heads, and you can just see just how grand and how big this area really is. Now, at this particular time, when we were in Universal, it actually was not very crowded, which I was very happy about, because the second day we were there, it was insane. Like, it was almost shoulder to shoulder walking through Diagon Alley, and it was crazy. But just the detail in the wood paneling, in the owls and the owlery, like, it's just beautiful. We are now in the top 5. Thank you all for sticking around. So number 5 for the top 5 is actually a shot I took of the Carnival Sunshine. We were both docked in Port Canaveral together, and we kind of left together. And I was working on the vlog, and I noticed that the Carnival Sunshine was literally right with us basically the entire way. And it just looked lonely, like this whole big ocean, and that ship just kind of looked all by itself. Granted, it wasn't by itself because we were out there with it, but it just looked like it was lonely. I took about 10 to 15 images on this one particular shot, and it just, like, some people would say it's off balance, and to a degree, yes, but I really wanted to get the feeling of it being alone. I really wanted to show all of this open space, all of this open sky, and there's not even a cloud in the sky. I mean, there's maybe some off in the horizon, but not really, not that much. And you have this big old ocean, you have this big old sky, and this, in all reality, it is a huge ship, but in the image it just looks so small, it looks so lonely. And that's kind of the feeling I wanted to portray in this specific image, was no matter how big you feel, sometimes you do feel kind of small. And you may be small in your eyes, but in someone else's eyes, you may be the best thing and the biggest thing in the world. And that's what I wanted to portray in number 5. Now, image 4 is actually just an image of my wife's arm. If you have followed me on Instagram or any type of social media, you know that I actually like to take a lot of images and a lot of photos of my wife. 1, because I think she's beautiful, and 2, she lets me. She kind of entertains me and lets me take different / random shots of her, and I'm very thankful for that. Because I can get images like this. This is actually right after I took the sunshine images. She was over there just kind of waiting for me to get done with my photos. She's very patient when it comes to photos and how I take them. And so I just walked over there, and I saw her just resting on the banister of the edge of the ship. And like, you can see her reflection in it, you can see the ocean, and it's just gorgeous. So I'm very thankful she lets me take all the different photos that I do of her. And one thing I love to do is I love to make black and white images. I love the contrast, I love the feel. And most of these images on the top 15 list are in color. There are a few in black and white. This one deserved to be in black and white. Like, just, I wanted to give that tone, and I wanted to show just how you can actually get abstract shots in everyday life. Number 3 on the list is actually something I have been wanting to do during our cruise for a while now. It is actually a cruise ship sunrise. I persevered. I got up. I am not a morning person whatsoever. I got up, and what really stunk that day is the perfect viewing area to see the sunset was actually from the Serenity deck. But they were actually cleaning the Serenity deck that day, or that morning, and so I couldn't go there to take photos. And so I had to go all the way kind of to the aft of the ship, the back of the ship, to take these images. And it just turned out amazing. The sunset was perfect. It was able to silhouette the ship just right to really make for some good imagery. I'm actually kind of glad that I was pushed back a little bit. I wasn't able to be right in the front in hindsight, now that I'm thinking of it, because I was able to get some amazing imagery from that, and I was able to get some amazing vlog footage with that as well. Go ahead and check that vlog out. And it just turned out beautiful. The colors of the sunset really just saturated the entire ship, and it just turned out amazing. I'm so glad that this image turned out the way it did. Okay, number 2 on the list is yet another shot from the balcony of the Carnival Liberty. This is the first time I've ever been in a balcony room, and what was amazing is the placement was just perfect. As you can see in the image, we were right in between 2 lifeboats. The window panes, or the glass panes, that kind of acted as a barrier to the wind and to the water, the line was perfect right there. Like, photograph-wise and photography-wise, I don't think I could have gotten a better balcony room. And we were going, this was the first day of, this is embarkation day as well, and we were out on the balcony, and I looked over, because I was doing some other shots. I was doing some long shots of the ship and things like that, and I just looked over and I saw this, and I saw that the waves were crashing beautifully. Like, we were moving relatively fast, and just the wake and the ocean was just roaring next to the ship, and it was phenomenal. So I had to take an image, and I had to share this with everybody. I took a bunch of different videos. Those were in the vlogs, and I took probably 15 to 20 different images just to capture this one shot of the waves being just right, and the reflection being just right, and the lines just being exactly where they need to be. And that's number 2. Alright, we are now to the top image. We are to number 1, and I'm super excited to talk about this image. So this particular image, we were in Diagon Alley yet again, and one of the great things of Diagon Alley is when you walk in, you can see Gringotts, and you can see the dragon hovering over Gringotts, and it is just fierce, and like, it makes it feel like it's coming straight at you, and it is unreal. The detail in this dragon, to the rips and cuts and blood, and just, you can tell that this dragon was tortured at some point in its life. Like, you can tell that it was real, that it wasn't fake, that it was literally the dragon from Harry Potter. And like, it was, I can't even put it into words how amazing it was. And so we were walking in, and the sun came up, and it was shining on the dragon. It was illuminating the dragon, which kind of caused the rest of the area I was in, right by Nocturne Alley, to be in shadow, because there's a bridge right there. And like the contrast it gave during this time of day was insane. I didn't actually discover this photo until later, because what I typically like to do is I like to post photos every once in a while. Not all of the photos all at once. And so I was looking through my camera roll, because like I said earlier, I take everything on my phone. I saw this and I was just like, this is the shot. This is my favorite shot. This is number one. This is the best shot, in my opinion, that I took during this entire honeymoon. And it captures the Wizarding World of Harry Potter beautifully, and of course I had to add it. And it was just, again, I can't put it into words. Like, it was, like, you can see the people walking around, you can see the people just engaging into this world and diving into this world, and it was just phenomenal. And if you've never experienced this, if you never experienced the Wizard World of Harry Potter, you honestly really need to. It is breathtaking. If you're a Harry Potter fan, even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, I think you can respect and enjoy the time and energy and attention to detail that they put in this whole area, in Diagon Alley. And not just Diagon Alley. Yes, obviously Diagon Alley, but there's King's Cross Station, there's the night bus, there is the Black's house, there is the fountain right in front of King's Cross Station and by the night bus, and then you have the Hogwarts Express, and then going off to the Hogwarts Express, you're in Hogsmeade, and then you have all of these different beautiful places in Hogsmeade, and then you have the beautiful gesture of the castle. Like, if you are any respecter of architecture or art or Harry Potter or anything like that, you honestly really need to just go to this place and experience it for yourself. But if you want kind of a look in and you've not seen what the Wizarding World of Harry Potter looks like, just go take a look at my vlogs. We spend a lot of time in that park, or in those parks. So yeah, that's why that's number one. It just worked perfectly. The expressions on the people, the light on the dragon, the light on Gringotts, the contrast of the shadow area towards me, like, it was just beautiful and perfect. And that's why it is number one, and that is why it is the favorite shot that I took on my honeymoon. Thank you all for coming by for this episode. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notified when we post new videos. Now, if you like these images, go ahead and follow me on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all of these different social medias. And you can actually see these videos and photos and everything like that live. I really only use Instagram to edit my photos for something like this. Now, I do use Lightroom and Photoshop and things like that for professional work, like portraiture and things for work and whatnot, but in all reality, all you need is something that can help you tell your story, and Instagram is just perfect for that. So thank you all again. Y'all have a great day.